And now, here's Joey Bishop.
Well, I appreciate your swinging by. Besides sitting here and doing Talk of the Town every day, Monday through Friday, 12:30 to 1, I'm also wear the hat of news director for WRWR. So it kind of keeps us hopping a little bit.
Now, how long have you been in radio? Well, when did you start?
Well, I got to count back. My first day in radio was actually a month before Governor Sonny Perdue was elected to his first term. That's the way I keep it straight. So I guess we can call it 8 years, going on 9 years now.
What did you do before you got into radio?
Well, before I went into radio, I actually went to college to become a teacher in history. And had just gotten back from Atlanta, where I went to Georgia State University, getting a master's degree in history with an emphasis on medieval history. So the obvious question that you're going to ask, and see it in your face, how do you go from that to doing what I do now? Well, it was kind of a slippery slope. A lot of us get into radio just that sort of way. I had come home because my father had been diagnosed with colon cancer and on the medication and the chemo, the radiation. He couldn't drive himself to the appointment. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take a break off, help Dad out, make sure that he gets the treatment that he needs. So was doing that, and at the same time had gotten involved with the Houston County Republican Party. Well, a lady that worked with the Republican Party had an association with the radio station here. Back then it was WNNG. She was doing a Saturday morning political show for an hour and needed a co-host, and asked me if I'd like to sit in. And after some reluctance and him hauling around for about a month and a half, I finally said, yeah, okay, we'll give it a try, see what happens. And it just so happened that the radio station was between news directors, and the morning man here at the radio station, Skip Holmes, heard us doing our Saturday show and said, you know what, he'd be a pretty good news director. He needs some training. He was rough around the edges, never had a day of radio in his life, but there's something about him, and I think I can train him. Convince the owner at that time to give me a shot, and been here ever since.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right. Now, if you weren't doing radio, what would you be doing?
Oh, well, there you go. You see, you've already got the answer to that one. I'd be teaching somewhere. Yeah. I was trained as a teacher, trained in history, and really had seen my life going to be a college professor at some point, and still enjoy that aspect. The other hat that I wear, besides being news director here at WRWR, I am the coordinator for the Houston County Certified Literate Community Program, and what I do, we are a public-private partnership of citizens in Houston County that have partnered with Middle Georgia Technical College to help raise funds for the adult literacy program and public awareness, to let folks out there know that just because you dropped out of high school doesn't mean that it's the end. You can go back absolutely free to Middle Georgia Technical College or any technical college in the state of Georgia and get your GED, get classes for free. So that's the other thing that I do. So I keep my hand in that teaching thing.
Yeah. All right. Now, have you ever goofed up on the air, like accidentally say another station's call letters, or have you ever recently with WNNG switching call letters, have you ever accidentally said this is WNNG instead of WRWR?
The question you've asked me, am I human? Yeah, absolutely. That happens. That happens. Yeah, you get into a habit. You get into a rhythm. It's like driving a car. And you ever gotten into a car and things were, well, the windshield wipers were on the different side of the dashboard than the car that you were used to, and you go to turn the windshield wipers and suddenly you've got the lights turned on,
or the gear shift
or something like that. Sure, we're human, we fall into patterns, and so occasionally you just got to kind of be aware of where you are and really focus in. And sure, and the best thing to do when a mistake happens, you call a guest by a different name. He's John, but you've called him Jim. You're WRWR, but you're calling it WNNG because you have for 7 years, or something like that. You just kind of laugh about it. The audience knows, and you own your mistake. You say, hey, you know what? We made a mistake out there, but you guys understand out there. We used to be WNNG, and you make it a positive. You kind of flip it around, and you make it something if you don't take yourself too seriously, you're going to go far in this business.
Now, when did you find out about the call letter change to WRWR?
Well, this is something that the management here at Georgia Eagle Broadcasting had been mulling about for some time. But they let us know probably a couple of weeks before these changes were being made. They let us know about the television station that's coming. We're hoping to have a television station right here in Warner Robins sometime around the July period. If everything goes well, you can see the cement being poured out there. We've got we've added a new frequency, 107.5 FM. We've taken our 99.9 FM frequency, and now that's ESPN Sports Radio with some local talk added to that, sports talk, so we're very proud of that. A number of things were all happening at the same time, so we got the big briefing.
Right.
all at the same time, and it was about, probably within a month, 2-week period window right there, just so that we could be used to that change. When they said, okay, this is our go date, we were ready to bring the big announcement out there.
When was the go date?
You know what? It's been now almost a month, and I've got it on my calendar, but I don't think about it because I got so much to think about looking forward. So I can't give you an exact date. But it's been about a month now since we've done that flip. And the reason we've gone to WRWR, when this radio station was first formed, it was WNNG, Wing 1350, as a salute and tribute to Robins Air Force Base,
right,
where all the wings are out there on the runway, and the men and women in uniform, and all the folks in Middle Georgia that support them, which should be all of us. That was the idea behind the radio station. Well, WRWR came as a realization that Robins Air Force Base still very near and dear to our heart, but there's more to Middle Georgia than just the base. There's a lot of industry out there, a lot of good folks that live here, and so WRWR, we are Warner Robins, reinforces our commitment to Warner Robins, Houston County, all of Middle Georgia, and everybody that lives there. And that's the change.
In the next video, we'll have part 2 of my interview with Joey Bishop.